What's going on, y'all? It's Derek J407, aka Best Heel Ever, and I'm here to give you my review of this week's episode of Lucha Underground. I believe we are on episode 14 of the second season, and tonight was all about the finals of the Trios tournament, and of course, Cage being inside a cage with Johnny Mundo. Both things happened, both things delivered, and I'm here to talk about both of them right here, right now. So, the show started with, of course, Johnny Mundo versus Cage in a steel cage match where one of these 7 ancient Aztec medallions were on the line. Taya was out there outside the cage with Mundo, and she became a factor a little later on. But overall, this match, really good match inside the steel cage. You got 2 people who can work and they can play around inside of a steel cage. You're bound to have a good match. A lot of high spots. Well, not a whole lot, but there was one in particular. Mundo hit a C4 off the top rope, so that was pretty cool. But the real good stuff didn't come until much later, though, when Taya was able to get a kendo stick in there. She got it through the one of the holes of the fence, and she got it in there. Gave it to Mundo. I believe he did use it on Cage. But the main thing was, though, that Cage got it at one point, and he was swinging away at Mundo. Mundo kept ducking every way he did, little rollovers and all that kind of stuff. Just kept ducking it, and then finally Cage just threw it at Mundo. Mundo caught it. Then Cage grabbed him and bum rushed him in the corner and flipped him over, and then the impact sent Mundo crashing down, because he ended up, he was still holding the stick at this point. So he crashed down, and his momentum made the stick bounce out his hand. Cage caught it, and then he finally was able to use it on him. So a lot more stuff happened after that, and then eventually Taya was able to throw a chair in there. Mundo hit Cage in the head with a chair, no protection, just straight on the top of his head. Unprotected chair shots these days, I'm not much of a fan of them, but oh well. Eventually Taya did get in there, though. She dove off the cage and hit a crossbody. In fact, before that, Mundo got to the top of the cage, and he was trying to hit the end of the world off the top of the cage onto Cage. That sounds so damn redundant. But he dove off the top of the cage, but Cage moved out of the way, and he just landed straight onto the mat. Then Taya was able to get inside the cage. She hit a crossbody off the top of it, landed on Cage, and took him out. And her and Mundo started to beat him down. Eventually, she busted out some handcuffs, and they were trying to handcuff Cage to the bottom rope, but Cage, he kicked Mundo off of him, and then he brought Taya over there, and he handcuffed her to the bottom rope. And then when Mundo was going over to hit Cage with the steel chair that was still in the ring, he ducked, and Mundo ended up hitting Taya, and then that led to Cage hitting Mundo with a kind of like a Michinoku driver, pile driver type move on the chair. I'm sure he has a name for it, but I don't remember it. He hit it on the top of the chair, and 1, 2, 3, and Cage wins. I assume this feud is over, and now Cage has one of these 7 ancient Aztec medallions. He joins Tejano and Aerostar. So there's only 3 people who have medallions so far, and eventually they'll compete in a big match, and the winner will win the Get the Gods title. So there you go. And then up next, we right to it, the main event for the Trios title. But before the match started, Dario Cueto came out of his office. His office wasn't completely destroyed last week by Mil Muertes and Matanza. He was in there. He came out of his office. He said he had breaking news. He got in the ring, got on the microphone, and announced that somehow Angelico has been injured. He got taken out somehow, and Ivelisse and Son of Havoc will have to defend their titles by themselves at a disadvantage in the match. He wished them good luck and said they are really going to need it. And with that out the way, then the match started. Well, the intros happened. We have the team of Phoenix, Jack Evans, and the Darewolf, PJ Black. We had the team of Cortez Castro, Mr. Cisco, and Joey Ryan. Rey Mysterio, Prince Puma, and El Dragon Azteca Jr., and of course the only two members of the Trios champions, Ivelisse and Son of Havoc. So no crazy balcony dives in this match, but we got a whole shit ton of dives. It was so difficult to call this match up front, man. It was just a whole bunch of crazy moves happening, a whole bunch of dives. You got 4 high flyers in there at once, and then eventually it was 6, and then it was all of them. And then at one point, everybody hit dives over the rope and over the top rope. At one point, Prince Puma was laid out on the top rope, and PJ Black, bounced off him and did a dive over him. Rey Mysterio hit a dive off the top rope. El Dragon Azteca hit a dive. Everybody hit a dive. And Ivelisse was about to, but then she got stopped by Joey Ryan, who was all feeling up and rubbing himself and all that kind of stuff like he normally does. And she slapped him, and they started to brawl, and we started to pay more attention to what was going on finally. Eventually, Cortez Castro got in there. He started to fight a little bit with Ivelisse. And Joey Ryan, he had his hand extended out, wanting to tag. And for some reason, I don't know why, but Cortez Castro did not tag in Joey Ryan. He looked at him, just shook his head no. And then when he turned around, Ivelisse rolled him up and got the victory. Or got the elimination. This was an elimination match. So that meant the 3 of them, Castro, Mr. Cisco, and Joey Ryan, were all eliminated. And of course, we know these are 2 undercover cops. So yeah, they didn't get along too well. We know they're undercover cops, so they don't get along too well. So now that's just gonna spark even more of a difference between the 2 of them. So that was that. And then eventually we saw Ivelisse. She was in there wrestling Jack Evans, and she was able to hit him with a code red kind of sunset flip powerbomb, but the referee had his back turned, so she had him in the position to get pinned. But then behind the referee's back, PJ Black came in, kicked her in the head, and kind of flipped Evans over, so he was in position to be pinning her, and got the pin. So the champions were the next to be eliminated. Son of Havoc, he was incapacitated on the outside, so they couldn't save their titles. So now we were guaranteed new champions. And from here, it was great action between these last 2 teams. A lot of great high-flying spots and all that stuff. In the end, the big closing moments of the match, it was Rey Mysterio hit a 619 on Jack Evans, and then El Dragon Azteca and Prince Puma hit stereo dives through the ropes outside onto PJ Black and Phoenix. And then Mysterio hit a split-legged moonsault on Jack Evans, got the victory, and we have new trios champions, Rey Mysterio, Prince Puma, and El Dragon Azteca Jr. So this was a crazy match. I did not go into full detail at all as to the crazy high-flying craziness of this match. Believe me, go out of your way and find it. Find the cage match too. I believe it's available online for free. I think Lucha Underground put up a link to it on their Twitter page the last time I checked. So find that match, find this match. These were 2 good, and since these were the only 2 matches on the entire show, that made this a very fucking awesome show. But we had a little stinger at the end. We had a little skit at the end of it. It was in some kind of dojo or something like that, and of course it was Vampiro. We just saw him, him closing out commentary with Matt Striker and all that kind of stuff, looking all normal. So this was kind of a weird jump to thing, but we saw Vampiro. He had the makeup on and a hooded outfit on. He had Pentagon Jr. So this is the first time we've seen Pentagon since he got killed by Matanza. So he's still alive, He's in a wheelchair, so he wheeled himself. It was so ridiculous. I've never seen Pentagon look this vulnerable. He got wheeled in on a wheel. He wheeled himself in on a wheelchair, and Vampiro was yelling at him to get up. And he started to pour candle wax on him, and we saw Pentagon all combobulating and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually he just got out of the chair, but he didn't stand up. He kind of like fell out and it was just laid out pretty much. And Vampiro called him weak, and that was the end of it. Pentagon just laid there with the candle right next to him. So, a very interesting way to end the show here. What's this hold? Like I said, with those two matches, and I guess this little skit at the end was pretty cool though. So this was a really good episode of Lucha Underground. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Rey Mysterio, Prince Puma, and El Dragon Azteca Jr. do as the new champions. And that's about it. Short, sweet, and simple. Just like Lucha Underground. So I'll see y'all next week for it.